Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are unpacking one of the most historic, rapid, and frankly mind-blowing ascents in the history of women's boxing. We're talking about a truly phenomenal rise, going from an amateur prodigy to a unified middleweight champion of the world in absolute record time. 5. That's it. Just 5 professional fights. That is exactly how long it took for a 29-year-old Canadian to completely rewrite the record books on August 8th, 2026. On a night that was defined by history, a lot of blood, and pure destiny, Tammara Thibeault, the pride of Shawinigan, Quebec, achieved what experts thought would take most fighters years of grueling professional work to reach. Section 1. The historic matchup. To really understand the gravity of this achievement, we have to set the stage at the Caribe Royale down in Orlando, Florida. The stakes for this co-main event were absolutely massive, and the sheer contrast between these two fighters is staggering. You've got Tammara Thibeault, 29 years old, a towering 6-foot southpaw, walking in with just 4, yes, 4 prior professional fights under her belt. And then standing across from her, Desley Robinson. They don't call her the Destroyer for nothing, you know? Robinson was 38, riding an incredibly intimidating 7-fight win streak, and walked into the ring as the unified IBF and WBO middleweight champion. This was a deeply seasoned veteran, universally seen as the absolute toughest test of Thibeault's young career. Now, you might look at those 4 pro fights and think Thibeault is just an ordinary rookie. Actually, scratch that. Not even close. She literally started boxing at age 9 alongside her dad and brother. From there, she built a resume that reads like a legend's. I'm talking about becoming a 2-time Olympian, competing in both Tokyo and Paris. By 2022, she was basically dripping in gold, winning at the World Championships, the Commonwealth Games, and the Pan American Games. It was this vast, elite amateur pedigree that gave her the sky-high confidence she needed stepping into that 2026 professional championship bout. Section 2. A tactical masterclass. The second that opening bell rang, it instantly became clear to everyone watching that this was not going to be your typical championship fight. So how exactly did Thibeault establish dominance so early on? Well, she used her physical gifts like an absolute masterclass. She leveraged her significant 6-foot height and reach advantage to perfection. She kept the tough, super aggressive Robinson at bay by fighting on the outside. Every single time the Australian champion tried to push forward and turn the bout into a brawl, she was met with Thibeault's surgical precision jab and a punishing straight left hand. The Quebecois phenom was simply too rangy, too powerful, and too technical, landing the cleaner punches round after round. And honestly, the tone of the fight was set almost immediately. In just the first 120 seconds of round 1, Thibeault unleashed a blistering combination. It landed totally flush and sent the veteran champion reeling back into the corner. The Australian was seriously hurt right out of the gate, and from that moment on, Robinson was basically forced to fight for her survival. Section 3. The bloody test. But championship fights are rarely smooth sailing. Just when it seemed like Thibeault was putting on a flawless boxing clinic, a sudden, terrifying moment of adversity struck. In round 7, out of absolutely nowhere, there was this accidental clash of heads. It resulted in a massive gash right on Thibault's nose. Blood immediately started gushing out, completely covering her face. The referee actually had to step in and halt the action so the ringside doctor could examine her. The tension in the Caribe Royale was just palpable. This was going to be the biggest test of the night, not just of her boxing skill, but of her raw courage. The reports from ringside capture it perfectly. With blood streaming down her face, she remained composed. This is what separates good fighters from great champions. She didn't panic. She didn't lose control. Instead, she showed the ultimate heart of a champion. Through those bloody, highly physical later rounds, she just kept on outboxing Robinson, absolutely refusing to let the injury compromise her tactical game plan. Which brings us to our final act, Section 4, a record-breaking champion. After the final bell rang, there was literally zero doubt left in the arena. The judges' scorecards were merely a formality to confirm the history we had all just witnessed. And this brilliantly illustrates the level of perfection she achieved, 100 to 90. All 3 judges scored the bout identically. It was a complete shutout, a unanimous decision victory that cemented her flawless performance over the veteran champion. Look at the sheer amount of hardware she took home that night. Tammara Thibeault successfully stripped Desley Robinson of the IBF and WBO middleweight titles. But wait, there's more. She also captured the vacant Ring Magazine middleweight title. All of this while improving her perfect professional record to 5 wins, 0 losses, with 3 brutal knockouts. Her place in the history books was completely locked in. So why does this matter on such a historic scale? Well, this victory makes her the fastest fighter to ever win the ring title. Ever. Doing it in just 5 pro fights is an incredibly rare feat. It's a true testament not just to her exceptional dedication to the sport, but to her flawless transition to the professional game. From that 9-year-old girl starting out in Quebec, all the way to reaching the absolute pinnacle of the boxing world. So what's next for the newly unified champion? The middleweight division is already eyeing a massive potential showdown. A unification bout to crown an undisputed champion is heavily rumored right now, possibly pitting Thibeault against the winner of the upcoming fight between the legendary Claressa Shields and fellow Australian Kai Scott. For women's combat sports, this represents a thrilling, blockbuster future on the horizon. For now, Tammara Thibeault sits on top of the world, a true testament to Canadian determination and a glowing sign of the bright future for women's boxing. But I want to leave you with this one thought. After achieving a unified championship in just 5 fights, what is Tammara Thibeault's absolute ceiling in this sport? If this is only the beginning of her incredible story, what could she possibly do next? Thank you so much for diving into this explainer with me, and keep exploring.